We're back. Apologies for a couple of day delay here. I forgot to bring my headset and microphone home with me over the weekend. So even though I did get some World of Warships in over the weekend, I didn't stream any of it because I thought it would be kind of lame to, post a bunch of gameplay without any live commentary. So um, I wanted to go ahead and see if I could do that tonight. So again, we've it's a new week, and there's a new set of weekly Havoc missions. We've already done the first trial because that's just win a single battle. So I did that on an AI battle. That was easy enough to take care of. But we have trials to earn credits, earn regular XP, earn commander XP, and then hit the citadels, which could also be get defended, captured, or assisted in capture ribbons, destroy ships, or cause flooding ribbons, and then the last one is just to get the, beat the top 3 in your team by XP received. We won't get this far tonight, but at least we will start making our way through the endurance trials this evening. And because our other streams have been all, we've done one stream with battleship, one stream with cruisers, one with battleships, and one with destroyers. We're gonna go ahead and do something a little bit sacrilegious, maybe, and do just carriers tonight. We'll see how that gets on. Carrier gameplay is a little bit, what's the word? It's a little bit controversial, I think. So let's see, what was the first one? I think the first one was just to earn credits, so it's something we need to be doing anyway. So I will go ahead and do that. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I do have some premium carriers that could be a good candidate for credit earnings, but it requires me to spend credits here. There's the Kaga, which is the Japanese, premium carrier that's in the game at Tier 7. And there's also the Saipan, which is an American premium carrier that's in the game at Tier 7. Why the Saipan is a Tier 7 premium carrier is beyond me. It was more of an escort carrier, but anyway, here we are. But in the interest of just going ahead and getting started on this, let's go ahead and let's just take out the Ranger, and we will throw on a credit booster here. Let's move all these up here. And we'll just go ahead and take the Ranger because we've already done the experience that we need from the Ranger. We've got the Lexington unlocked. It's just a matter of spending the 20.2 million credits that we need in order to actually purchase the Lexington. The carriers have, a longer experience timer. Not timer, but they have longer experience requirements to go from one to the next. Because if you see the way that it works, I'll just look at the tech tree real quick. When you're looking at carriers, there are like half as many carriers as there are others. The way the other ships have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then of course there's legendary tier, which isn't shown on the tech tree. But the carriers only have tier 3, tier 5, tier 7, and then there are a couple of legendary carriers. But most nations, if they even have a carrier line, they're only going to have one carrier line. It's not like the American battleship line where there's 2 lines of battleships, there's 2 lines of cruisers. I suppose it's possible at some point they could introduce an additional destroyer line, but there's only going to be one carrier line. So the Americans have carriers, the Japanese have carriers, the Brits have carriers, the Germans have carriers, even though they didn't historically. The French do not. Russia, for some reason, has carriers. Italy does not. Pan-Europe does not. Pan-Asia does not. So, But you can see I don't have any Tier 7 tech tree carriers. I only have the Tier 7 premium carriers that I've got through, I don't remember if it was campaign or bureau or whatever it was, but that's how those came to be. I'm almost positive that these were bureau projects. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's just take the Ranger out and see if we can't get those credit earnings. When it comes to aircraft carriers and earning credits, you start at a little bit of a disadvantage because carriers have a harder time. One of the main correlations between credit earnings and and your gameplay is that the more ribbons you get, typically that means the more credits you're going to earn. It's not a 1-for-1, but that tends to be why a lot of we're just going to set our course over here. I just typically, when I'm playing in a carrier, I like to get myself out of the back line and a little bit closer to the enemy, and I want my carrier to be moving so that if I need to change course or change direction or changing course is changing direction, that's the same thing. But if I need to change course or change my position, my ship's already in motion.
Battle starts.
So we're going to take off with these SB-2U Vindicator bombers from the Ranger. But just to follow up on what I was saying about, to finish the thought on aircraft carriers and why they started a bit of a disadvantage. Typically your best credit earning ships are going to be ships that have high rates of fire because they get a lot of hits on enemy ships, enemy targets. And all of those hits that you get create ribbons, right, that you get on the top right corner of your screen. And the larger number of ribbons that you get, damage ribbons, torpedo, shell hit ribbons, torpedo hit ribbons, whatever, detected ribbons, you can see that's a pretty decent way to at least start off by getting some ribbons in a carrier, is just go around and get a number of detected ribbons, which is what we're doing right now. Just going to try to spot as many ships on the enemy team as we can. This not only has serves the purpose of, getting us some more of those ribbons, which are good, but it also tells our teammates where everybody is. Alright, go ahead and send them back. We have spotted 6 members of the enemy team. It's probably okay for now. There is one destroyer out there. Probably would be a good idea to find that destroyer. This Pensacola, though, is just sitting broadside on in kind of a bad spot, so we're going to see if we can get in here. Oh. Let's target between those islands. That's a bit of a bad spot. Let's abandon this attack and go find that destroyer instead, because we did find him over here. If we can spot this destroyer, that'll be a better thing for our team to go ahead and shoot at that destroyer. In the meantime, line up an attack run on this Warships. Said destroyer. Just totally slip away from us. The American torpedoes are pretty slow, so you gotta give these ships a fair bit of lead. There's that destroyer. So, that was not a particularly good drop there, but we are at least spotting that destroyer for a little bit longer while that... Yeah, and you can see we're already being spotted here. Probably that Graf Spee doing some of the spotting, so let's go ahead, get in there. And American bombers, dive bombers, really want to be using their, their high explosive bombs. That did almost no damage. Well, that was a bad drop. Let's go ahead and put up a squadron of torpedo planes. See if we can get after that Graf Spee. He looks like he's gonna die. He's on his way out. That enemy destroyer's still out there, though. Probably fine. That Graf Spee's gone. Okay. Let's go see if we can find that destroyer. I'm going to send my carrier back up here because we're getting to the point in the battle where, we're going to win. The enemy team, you can see they've pretty much retreated to the back of the map. Got a couple ships over here that are going to look for this destroyer. Or at least can shoot at him. Fine. So... our aircraft are spotted, which means that that destroyer's got to be around here somewhere. I'm not seeing anything. So, we'll just take this opportunity to go over and launch some torpedo attacks on the targets that we know are there. One thing I haven't done a very good job of in this game, I'm just realizing, is I did not do a good job of providing fighter cover for my teammates. And that's something that, a good carrier player is going to do. It's not a very good attack angle, but those are pretty good spread of torps, so I'm not going to complain. Yeah, and the enemy fighters found us, so we are just going to abandon that attack. One thing that I don't know if a lot of people know about is that when you send your planes back, when you order them to return to the carrier and abandon your attack, they become immune to the attack from enemy fighter planes, which is, honestly is kind of stupid. But, if you're in a situation where the enemy fighter plane gets locked onto you, and just launched our fighter plane of our own, so maybe it will, see it's engaging there, it's going after those dive bombers. There's a decent chance it's going to do some damage there. But we're not getting very many ribbons in this battle. You can see we've got 9 spotting ribbons, 3 bomb hits, 4 torpedo hits, a flooding, and a destroyed ship. That's just not a lot of action. And it's going to be something that is going to it's going to prevent us from earning a whole ton of credits in this game. Now, it will help that we win. Certainly things like setting fires on ships will help. But again, when you're going after an enemy aircraft carrier, it's not worth it to try to launch a whole bunch of attacks, because you're just going to get shot down by the enemy aircraft carriers' combat air patrol, their own fighters, as well as, you know, the anti-aircraft guns on carriers. Where is that destroyer? Go over here and just... One reason I'm doing this is I'm going to plant a fighter squadron over the top of him so that they will spot him. That should keep him spotted. While we go and, well, they destroyed my fighter already, but that's alright. They're gonna kill that Fubuki. And we're gonna win this battle in about 30 seconds.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Because we're going to score all the points that we need to win. Alright, 995, we won't even get this attack off, I bet. 998. One more tick, and yeah, there we go. So, not a super productive battle from a credit earning standpoint. Look at that, only 150,000 credits. I bet we weren't even like top 5 on the team. No, we're down here. We didn't do that much. Even though we had that credit booster going, we got the win. Only 150,000 credits. It's not going to get the job done. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do, as much fun as that was, is I'm actually going to go ahead and take the Saipan. And before I do, there's a couple things I want to do. I mean, yes, it would be great to put a concealment module on here, but I think what I'm going to do instead is put on the air groups mod. And yeah, it's going to cost me a big chunk of change, but this makes your aircraft get back to your ship quicker, and also gives them more hit points when they're dive bombing. So let's go with that. That's going to be the most effective thing to do. Sure, let's put a flag on for well, again, it was recently Victory in Europe Day, so let's put that on there. We have the permanent camouflage on there already. Our commander is Ernest King. Inspirations here are Dufournet, who's a French commander. I put this on here because you see he does an additional 4.5% bomb damage. That's pretty significant, because the American dive bombers really are the reason why you play the American bombers, or the American carriers. And then the other one is Yamaguchi, who does additional AA damage for your carrier. The only other thing you could consider putting in here would be a commander who reduces the detectability range of your aircraft carrier. But I think if we're smart, we can kind of just avoid that anyway. Ernest King himself has this really nice base trait, which increases the range that your anti-aircraft guns will engage enemies. That's fantastic. That paired with this fly swatter ability gives you a ton of extra anti-aircraft damage per second, so that makes, you know, whatever carrier Ernest King is on really good at shooting down enemy planes. Increasing aircraft cruise speed is really good. Increasing dive bomber hit points, as well as reducing their detectability, is good. It makes them, less prone to air attack. And then, of course, having your bombs do more damage is another really nice feature. We could potentially unlock that with, we could get it up to, what is this? Go from 4 to 6% increased chance of causing a fire, and 2 to 3% chance of, or additional damage, but that's going to cost 5 insignias. I don't necessarily want to do that. But the other thing that's nice is that you do get an additional consumable with fully packed, which also affects the airplane consumables that you have. So let's just give this a shot. Let's see how the Saipan does. I think I've played the Saipan in a couple of AI games, but I haven't played the Saipan competitively, in a standard battle. So I said that aircraft carriers were, a bit controversial, or that it was maybe an unpopular opinion to try out aircraft carriers, and that's because aircraft carriers have been something of a a mixed bag in terms of the community opinion since they were released. They were not in the original release of the game. The only thing that was in the original release were destroyers, battleships, and cruisers. Carriers were added, I don't know, maybe a year or two into the game. They decided to come out with carriers, and originally aircraft carriers were in. And see, yeah, in this one we should be able to
Autopilot mode enabled.
right here. And what I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna go here, and then once I get close to this grid square, I'm gonna reconfigure my ship to move up so that my flight deck is pointed towards the enemy. That will make it so that my planes will take off in the direction of the enemy, which just makes them fly a little bit faster to the enemy, to the fight. We'll start off with the HE bombers because the bombers are the thing. And you can see with this carrier we've got SB-2C Hell Divers, which are basically the most advanced bombers that the United States came up with during the Second World War. These planes were absolutely incredible. There are additional consumables that these planes get at Tier 7 as well. You can see we've got the usual fighter consumable down there. We've got 4 charges of that. There's the engine cooldown consumable. That's another thing that we get. And of course we can just return to the carrier. That's the other one. But the big one that is really exciting is the one that cuts down on the amount of damage that your carrier takes when you're making a dive bombing run. So that's a nice one. Yeah, see, we just flew right into kind of a hornet's nest there. So I probably used that consumable just a little bit too early. It's one of those things I've got to learn how to do. I'm going to come over here because I can see that the enemy carrier is over on this side, and he's kind of harassing our destroyer, so I'm going to fly over here and drop a fighter plane consumable right on top of these guys, because that will bring in our fighter squadrons and hopefully help our destroyer stay alive.
Concentrate fire on the target. We've been spotted. Fighter airborne.
So one of the things that a carrier is really good at is kind of picking out targets that are by themselves.
Position of a strategic target.
And this guy
Concentrate fire
has
on
got
the
himself
enemy
into a pretty bad situation. And the Odin does not have particularly good anti-aircraft firepower, so he's going to take almost all of these torpedoes. And again, don't ask me why the Saipans, the Helldivers, drop 2 torpedoes. It has never made any sense to me.
Autopilot mode enabled.
Cover for that target. I owe you one.
Alright, so we're going to head back this way. So we can see that both enemy destroyers are over on this side. So we didn't quite catch this in time to get ourselves well lined up. So we're going to wait until the ship kind of pulls a little 360, starts heading back south, and then once it just starts to make that turn towards the west, then we will put it into, yep, right now we can put it right back here. That'll get us
All
oriented
stations,
properly.
reporting the position of a strategic target.
And you can see that the flight time is pretty long to get to the target area when we're flying from the back of the map. So that's why I don't like to just put my carrier at the back of the map. Some people do. But there's got to be some destroyers up here.
Acknowledged.
Where are these guys? What you want to be looking for is the anti-aircraft tracer fire. It's an gear. So of course the A gear is going to have a pretty decent AA.
Concentrate fire on the designated target.
Three hits, fire. Can't really complain about that. And then of course we lose basically all of our dive bombers in that attack. But that's okay, that fire is still burning on the Agir. Let's push up here. We can see that there are some battleships that are starting to push the center of the map. I don't know what battleship this is, but let's see what that situation is. I would love to get over there and provide some spotting information for those destroyers, but I didn't see anything, so I'm not sure where they have gone. What battleship is this? That's that Odin again, it looks like. We know we can pick on him. Let's go ahead. He must be so happy to see me coming, I'm sure. Alright. We'll head around this direction. That was not a particularly good drop by those Helldiver pilots. Goodness.
Destination
Well, we
reached.
messed that one up pretty badly. That was not a very good drop. Well, we did a little bit of damage there, not as much as I would have liked. Felt like we had the opportunity to do a little bit more there. That's alright. This is an Alabama who has pretty darn good AA.
Fighter airborne.
There is a...
I need your support.
Yeah, and they're looking for support because they want to know where those destroyers are, so... Get over there and do that. I just went ahead and used that consumable that cools down, makes us take a lot less damage. So, yeah, we can see there's a destroyer, this one destroyer is showing up on the map over here. So we're gonna fly over here and help him out. Spot this guy. There he is, he's right there.
Fighter airborne.
And that A-Gear's anti-aircraft fire is just really messing us up right now. Certainly not the Z-46. Z-46 does not have particularly good anti-aircraft firepower. Alright, let's get those torpedo bombers back up. Again, that enemy... Fighter plane consumable did not go where I wanted it. Let's see what's in the middle of the map. Is this that Odin again? enough it is. Oh my gosh. Wow. You gotta be kidding me. At least we should hit him with both of those. These 2 enemy destroyers are still up there, and I'm just wondering what the heck they're doing. That a gear is just so difficult for us to deal with.
Autopilot mode
Move up to
enabled.
here, because at this point, maybe even here. At this point, it would just be nice to be a little bit closer to the action. And we can lend our anti-aircraft support to that destroyer over there. Here's the gear.
That's how it's done.
Try to come around and just put some torpedoes into that general area. Because you never know. So again, probably not the most successful game in terms of raw damage numbers. This Musashi does not have good anti-aircraft. So, actually, I'm just gonna park here. I don't really feel like going all the way up there. But approaching target with bombs from the rear is a pretty good way to go. And that's a fire on him. We are still taking a lot of fire. Not a lot of damage there. Let's see if we can catch this Musashi from the side then. Which way is he turning?
Destination reached. Autopilot mode disabled.
So we're up against a Kaga. Which has a lot of planes, but they die very quickly. This is going to do it for this Musashi, by the way. There's no way he's going to survive this salvo of torpedoes. Yeah, he's dead.
We've destroyed an enemy battleship.
Has taken the lead.
We are going to lose almost all of our torpedo planes on this particular attack. that's okay. We got 3 hits. Not gonna complain. Only question now is, do we go after the carrier? Or probably not. That carrier is just gonna fall to the destroyer that's going after him. So we will go ahead and just go after this battleship that's out here.
Autopilot mode enabled.
And the only question is, can we get there in time to get the kill on this guy? Probably not. No, we didn't drop it. But he died anyway. How did we do in terms of credits? 365,000 credits. So, not awful, not amazing. How close are we? Yeah, we've got to get about another... Yeah. So we'll just go ahead and do one more battle in the Saipan. We don't need the credit booster for this because at this point we only need about 100,000 credits. That should be pretty straightforward to go. So let's go ahead and do it again. Anyways, I was saying, you know, carriers are relatively controversial because when they originally started in the original World of Warships for PC, playing an aircraft carrier was so different than anything else in the game. It was like playing a top-down third-person shooter, not third-person shooter, a top-down strategy game, real-time strategy game. Because the way it was implemented was you would, you know, it was almost like, you know, playing a game of StarCraft or something like that, where you had to, you know, pick the spot on the map where you wanted your planes to fly to, and then, you know, you would pick when it was time to, I'm going to go ahead and start with the torpedo bombers, since the torpedo bombers seem to regenerate faster than the dive bombers. When it was time to drop your bombs or launch your torpedoes or whatever, you would pick the angle, you know, that those forces were going to, you know, that they were going to drop on, and it was all done. It was really sharp in terms of giving you just a totally different experience. And there was a lot of precision in terms of using the mouse and, you know, lining up your shots and that kind of thing. But the problem was that it was so powerful because whoever was playing as the aircraft carrier was basically just fundamentally playing a different game than what all of the other... this guy just used his fighter consumable in the middle of nowhere, and I'm not even going to worry about it. Yeah, they were just playing a totally different game than what everybody else was playing. And if you had a really good aircraft carrier player, it completely, you know, it dominated the whole way that the battle went. So, they went through what was known as the aircraft carrier rework at the time, and that basically, this is not great. It's not going to do anything to that guy. Super lucky for that to have any kind of impact. But we're going to harass him anyway, and if we're harassing him, and he's not doing what he wants to be doing, and that looks pretty good. Getting a destroyer with 2 torpedoes is excellent. I mean, just excellent.
Support the allied target.
Alright, I'm coming up here and I'm going to drop a fighter squadron. On top of this enemy torpedo squadron if I can. Maybe they'll go get him. And they're just hovering in a totally random spot. Sometimes the logic on those things is really annoying. Alright, let's get back over here. There's a destroyer. Really just kind of want to ruin this guy's day. That's our main goal. Just hover over him. Make sure that our teammates are attacking him. Taking down his hit points. And then at that point, you know, they'll be down 2 destroyers once this guy is gone. There's another destroyer over here. Said something very foolish and left his smoke screen out. He's dead. What about that other Shiratsu? Yeah, we got that one too. Cool. Very good. So we've done our part here.
Autopilot mode enabled.
And at this juncture, we've really got an issue because we are getting attacked on this flank. This flank has completely... No, don't go that way. Don't go that way. Oh my god, sometimes the pathing is ridiculous. Not sure what happened there, but that was not great. It's a Siegfried. And we're dead. Wow. Well, that was an unfortunate way to have that game go. Thought things were looking pretty good, but then our left flank just collapsed, and we didn't do a very good job of positioning ourselves, unfortunately. Even though we did definitely help take out those couple of destroyers, we didn't do enough otherwise. There we go. Going down. So anyway, they reworked all the aircraft carriers to be more like what you see now in World of Warships Legends. So it's not a game that you're playing as a... let's see how much... I hope that's going to be enough. There, well... Shakedown trials, 1700, yeah. Will we get basically 135,000 credits in that battle? I feel like it would be pretty strange for a tier, even though we're not going to do very well, it would be pretty strange for a tier 7 premium to not get 130,000 credits in a battle. So I think we're mostly safe. to go ahead and jump back into the lower tiers and start trying to earn some experience, because I think that's the next mission, is to just earn 15,000 XP. So let's go ahead and pick some of these lower level carriers and see if we can just earn a bunch of XP. Let's go with the Furious. Okay, so the aircraft carrier rework made it so that the carriers were more of the kind of first-person shooter, well, I guess not first-person shooter, third-person shooter style of game that the rest of World of Warships is, right? Like, you see your ship, you aim down your sights, you shoot your guns, whatever. It's more like that. And also, the rework made it... I recognized it at the time as something that was going to be playable on console with a controller, even though they weren't in the console game. Actually, I think they did the carrier rework before they even came out with World of Warships Legends. So there was no question when World of Warships Legends came out that eventually, to me anyway, the console was going to get carriers, because the way that they made it work, where you're flying your planes, you're not like the third person kind of top down strategy game version of it was like playing the game like this, right? Where you would pick a spot on the map, you'd send your planes there, you'd angle them one way or the other, and they'd do their attacks and whatever. Now the game has this very, different kind of... Let's get ourselves moving over here. Different thing where, you kind of take off with your plane from the carrier. It's this screen here, right, where you're flying in a squadron of your planes. You line up your attack, on the board, and yeah. It feels very handheld controller friendly. And I personally like it. I think it's a good change of pace. Now, I'm not suddenly gonna start playing a bunch of aircraft. I thought I plugged myself in to come over this way, but I guess I didn't. I'm not gonna start playing a whole bunch of aircraft carrier games or anything like that. Carrier. But I do appreciate that. I'm just going to come over here and try to protect our destroyer a little bit. Ooh, that was good. That dropped right on top of those guys. Although, they didn't attack them, of course. Yeah. Let's see if we can spot where... Yep, he's right here. You can see it because he's got the AA was starting to go. So each nation has something, the same thing they do with their surface ships. Each nation kind of has some unique gimmick about their carriers. And so the American gimmick is that their planes tend to have pretty good high explosive bombs that do a pretty good amount of damage, as well as a good chance of setting fires. The British carriers have this cluster bomb thing that they do. What happened to our planes there? Where they drop a whole series of kind of light munitions that really aren't good for anything. Starting fires. But they do have a tendency to be pretty effective against destroyers, right? Because even though it wasn't demonstrated there, you can see they kind of pepper a whole area with bombs, and it can be pretty hard for a destroyer to kind of outmaneuver that, whereas it's very easy typically for a destroyer to outmaneuver your traditional dive bombs that are dropped by like the American bombers, the German bombers, and the Japanese bombers. So Let's see. Yep, there he is. He's still there. He's still there. There we go. We got him. We hit him at least once. All I want to do is keep harassing this guy. He's pretty much dead at this point. Yep, we got him. I mean, we didn't get him personally, but our team did. Alright, let's launch some torpedo bombers. So that's kind of the gimmick that all... hopefully our carrier is just going to stop right there, because I do not... Yep, destination reached. Because I do not want to... not want to get any further than that. Let's go over here and help out this side. Because they've got a whole huge cluster of cruisers and everything happening over on this side. Looks like their carrier is providing some support. I want to get a fighter in the air and see if we can help out. In the meantime, let's go after this Indianapolis. The Indianapolis is probably going to have pretty good AA, so maybe this is a stupid attack, but whatever. And that Indianapolis is dead. Okay. Cool. Maybe we can get one more attack in over here, because they've got a whole cluster of cruisers just sitting in this capture point, and I'm just thinking, just put a couple torpedoes in here and see what happens. Almost can't miss. Know that there are cruisers in here. Let's look at where the anti-aircraft fire is coming. Might need to move over here, because they're coming this way.
Our team has taken the lead.
Not sure why they're telling me to back up. There's not really any reason to back up. Our team's pretty much gonna win here. And again, it's just another one of those games where we weren't that effective. We didn't do that much. We did spot that destroyer at the beginning. That was I think that was a big part to the reason why our team won, because the destroyer was able to, killing that destroyer was a big part of try to avoid that fighter squadron if I can. I want to come in from behind this, what is this, a Miyoko? Yeah. Get him. We got him. Alright.
We destroyed an enemy cruiser.
Now at this point, maybe we'll get in here and launch this attack. I have a feeling we're going to lose too many planes. I got a couple of hits. Go ahead and launch the torpedo planes, see if we can get this cruiser over here that's sitting in the Charlie capture point. At this point, we're just moving our carrier into B because why not? That will help get a couple of extra experience points for us if we can actually capture a base. Carriers don't often get the chance to participate in base captures, so I'm hopeful that my carrier will get in there enough time to participate in that capture. Looks like we're in there now, so that's good. Yeah. Here's the cruiser. Are you? You're an Exeter. Exeter, of course, also has really good anti-aircraft guns. But at least Exeter is only a tier 5. Where are you gonna go, Exeter?
Destination reached. Autopilot disabled. Autopilot enabled.
Can we go that way? It's very strange the way that their pathing is working there.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Guess we'll go this way.
Fighter airborne.
I think the Exeter is going to be the, you know, that's going to be the, we kill that ship, that's going to be the deciding factor. I mean, 5 minutes basically to kill an Exeter, we should have that. But the torpedo planes will probably do a better job than these dive bombers, or not dive bombers, but these like carpet bombers. Totally missed there. It's alright, maybe we'll get him this time. He sailed out of his smoke screen, which I don't know why you would do. With 3 hits, pretty good. Not a lot of damage, but let's grab the torpedo planes.
Fighter airborne.
Of course, he's gonna start shooting at me if he can see me, which makes perfect sense. He's gonna want to get some revenge. That is okay. Well dodged, Exeter. Well dodged.
Torpedoes direct front.
Those torpedoes are so slow. Goodness. Do the job. this point, we're just going to send our carrier down here and ram the enemy carrier if we have to. It's not going to matter. We're going to get all of the points. Got too many capture points at this already. We shot down a lot of airplanes in this one, though. So shot down 5, I think, with our own ship and aircraft guns, and then 6 with our fighter planes. Turn into my torpedoes. What are we gonna do here? Oh my gosh. Finally got him with like 1 torpedo. Make that 2 torpedoes. He's gonna sail into the island here if he's not careful. And we'll get him with this one. Hopefully. Oh no, we got too many points. So. Yep, that's right. That worked for XP. That means that the last one did complete the credits, so that's good. But you can see, you know, we were top 3 on the team in experience earned. And that's about all you can ask for as a carrier, because it's quite hard to earn experience. Getting a capture point, I think, was a huge, huge part of that. Okay. Well, while we're trying to get additional XP, let's not do that. Let's drop that down to just double booster, and we'll put the triple XP booster over here on the Ryujo. So again, as I was saying, British carrier planes are really good at their, you know, kind of their carpet bombing, and they're good at going after destroyers. Japanese aircraft carriers are really good for their torpedoes. Their torpedoes tend to do a lot of damage, and they're also faster. The torpedoes are easier to hit than the torpedoes of other nations. So let's see, where are we going to go? I guess we'll kind of... We start so far back in this one, but let's kind of angle off this way. We might as well start with the torpedo bombers. That's our bread and butter. And we'll head off over to Alpha. Most of the battle is going to occur over the Alpha point. So maybe we just bring ourselves up here and then reassess. So we're going to want to be close to Alpha. That's where, like I said, the battle is going to be decided. Probably where the enemy destroyer is going to go. So that's what we're going to want to be spotting. Though I'm looking at that and I'm seeing that our cruiser is moving away from Alpha. And all of our battleships appear to be converging on it. So that's going to be an interesting strategy. We'll see if it plays out for them. I see the enemy fighter is going over, or the enemy dive bomber is going over this way, so I'm going to come over here and drop my fighter plane over here. Hopefully it will pick up a couple of bombers. Alright, we've detected a couple of ships over here. Just want to hop over this little island, see what's there. This cruiser seems like a good target because that is the biggest threat to our destroyer. USS Dallas. Something might be turning. This Dallas, that great spot to turn. Got him with both of those. See, that just does so much damage, and we're not going to turn in time. I don't think to get these torpedoes off. We'll get them off, but they won't actually hit. Oh, yeah, but they didn't arm. They were too close. Let's drop our carrier over here. Still haven't spotted the enemy destroyer. It's making me a little bit nervous. Oh, where would we hop over here and out this? Oh, our Omaha just. What are you, a Leander? Leander is going to have pretty good anti-air weapons. I know because I used to steam around in one. And I was always very pleased with the anti-aircraft firepower. So we took out the enemy Cavour. That's a pretty big win at this point. Looks like we are spotted, so probably need to start getting the heck out of Dodge. Looks like we're under attack by the enemy aircraft carrier. That Leander really is the big threat to our survivability. Looks like he's just kicking our butt there, which is not good. Set 2 fires on that guy. We had better get back here and get the heck out of here because we are getting spotted all over the place and attacked. I don't know if it's a battleship or what that's hitting us, but we have got to get way out of Dodge. I think we're probably dead. There we go. Got rid of that Leander. Just gonna send those planes home. And now, no one's spotting us, but... Ah, there's that destroyer. Let's go pick up that Mahan. Mahan has got really good anti-aircraft guns. And he just went ahead and put up his smoke screen, but that's fine. We're in the neighborhood. It's Königsberg. Seems like a good target to pick on because Königsberg does not have very good anti-aircraft weapons. Say that as we anti-aircraft fire. Who knows?
戦闘機発艦。
自動航行に切り替えます。
Oh, they got me. The enemy carrier got me. See, that's the thing. Once you get low enough, you know, you become kind of easy to take out for the enemy aircraft carrier. But at least I think we can get this Königsberg here. Just around silent. Got so many places that you can go. Go. So I think in general our mistake was we just got a little too aggressive. We moved up a little too far. This particular case probably would have been better to just stay put. We're at the beginning of the map. That. I mean, we didn't get credit for that kill, but we darn well should have, because we did most of the damage to that Mahan. Anyway, doesn't matter. We got one torpedo bomber left, and he is going down fast. He's dead. Okay, let's look at what the status is on this mission. We got the... Let's just see. I'm curious to see what our situation was in the site. Great, that's nice. Got it. Pretty bad. But we did at least get 150,000. What do we need? Like 135? That'll work. Of course, we had that game in the Furious. We'll probably get, you know, 5,000 XP from that game, but we're still gonna need to make up a bunch. So let's go ahead, jump back into another battle. Let's check out the Vaser. The Vaser is probably my personal favorite aircraft carrier that I've played so far. So, we covered the Americans have really good high explosive bombs. The Brits have really good, like, carpet bomb, fire starting, you know, wide area of effect bombs. The Japanese have really good torpedoes, and the Germans have really good armor-piercing bombs. And that is a kind of a new
Autopilot aktiviert.
thing. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get my ship going over here, and then we will see if we can swing back around and pop up here and be facing towards B. So that we're facing the enemy and able to attack. So we're going to start off with the torpedo bombers because, first of all, just a couple things I love is that the Vaser, of course the Germans never had aircraft carriers, but the Vaser is an Admiral Hipper class cruiser that has been converted into an aircraft carrier. There were some designs to take the last Admiral Hipper class cruiser and convert it. You know, at the time, I think the Germans realized that this would have been sometime, and you know, after the war broke out, realized that they had a need at aircraft carrier that they didn't have a way to meet. And so the design was to basically, yeah, just convert one of the Admiral Hippers into a carrier. Now, it wouldn't have been a very big carrier. Probably would have only been able to fit maybe 20, 30 planes. But it would have given the Germans some carrier capability, which they probably could have used in the Second World War, although how much difference it would have made, debatable. But I love the planes that they have for these. They're these Fiesler 167s, which was actually developed, specifically for this purpose. The Fieslers were a combination torpedo dive bomber that would have been used by the German Navy. And they're just really fun planes. They're very effective. And who knows if they would have been that effective in real life? Probably not. But, yeah, they're just a really interesting, plane that I think would have been really effective. If the Germans had bothered to, these would have been the torpedo planes that would have been carried by the Graf Zeppelin, if the Graf Zeppelin would have ever been built. If the Germans would have bothered to develop their fleet air arm, actually I'm looking at this going, we probably need to go over this way because the enemy is making a pretty significant push towards the Charlie Cap. I don't know if I really want to fly in here. We're going to fly into a ton of anti-aircraft fire, but there's some very good-looking targets over here. So here, let's see what these German air armor-piercing bombs can do. Citadel hit. Yep. That's what makes these German planes so much fun, is they can Citadel battleships with their armor-piercing bombs. And the higher altitude they drop their bombs from, the more penetration their bombs have. So their bombs do actually a ton of damage. Pretty exciting. So, alright, my thought process is here. We're going to head over to... We're going to get ourselves going over to the west side of the map, because we need to sink this Texas and give ourselves some space to work over here. Because the eastern side of the map has got all of those battleships. Texas is not exactly a great ship for us to be attacking. Texas has amazing anti-aircraft guns. But we have to make something happen on this side of the map, or we're going to lose. So Texas is down. This Mexico. Looks like we're gonna hit them with both of those. Yep, and we cause flooding too, so not bad. I think at this point we go up and take out this New Mexico. Looks like he's on his way down though. Unless he manages to take out that destroyer, in which case, yeah, no, we need to help him out here. Although, he's basically a goner now. Got him.
Wir haben ein gegnerisches Schlachtschiff versenkt.
So, let's send those dive bombers back, and we will go after the main enemy push here. There's an Ismail, Queen Elizabeth, a Normandy, and 2 Monagans, although one of those Monagans is hurt pretty bad because he took a pretty nasty torpedo from us earlier. That's why I'm glad we got our carrier moving out of there, because you can see they're making their push. can see there's also one of those destroyers is over here. One of those Monagans is here. One of the really nice things about these carrier planes, the Fieslers, I want to call them Fiats, but they're Fieslers, is they have really good, like, turning circles. I don't know. Yeah, he just ran himself right into that torpedo. That was pretty funny. And I think, you know, in this particular game, it is going to be on us to do a fair bit of damage to these battleships as they come through here. Let's focus on the Queen Elizabeth. I think the Queen Elizabeth is the next good target for us. I don't know why all our battleships are just, like, clustering over here. They need to kind of get out there and start getting shots on these enemies, but let's see. I don't know if any of those torpedoes are going to hit. Some of them look like they're pretty good. Take them out. Not quite, but this attack should do it, which is why we wanted to go ahead and... You're a goner. Yeah. Double Citadel, too. Nice. Let's go ahead and look at this Normandy. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Single Citadel hit. Well, only 3 torpedo bombers here. I don't even know if it's worth trying to launch this attack. Just better of it. We're going to send it back. We're going to take the full squadron of... We're just going to keep moving up here because at some point that Ismail is going to come after me. Looks like that guy was upset that I did so much damage to him. But that's the way that German armor-piercing bombs work. They do a ton of damage from high altitude. Clearly, it's here, and you know, the problem with German AP bombers, I am never gonna find this guy. I mean, I possibly could if I was really good at it, but finding a battleship in a smokescreen like that is an exercise in futility. At least, well, no, looks like he just came out of the smokescreen. Well then, let's get behind this guy. At least we killed that Monaghan. This guy's trying to outturn me, but he's not gonna outturn these Fieslers. Take those dive bombers again. I think the Normandy is going down. There's still a Serov left. Where is he? You know what? Let's just go out there and go after that Serov directly. The Evasor has pretty good secondary guns. In a one-on-one fight, I would take the Evasor over the Serov. Just like that. Yeah, he's gone. Cool.
Unser Team hat die Führung übernommen.
I think it's fair to say, you know, in a lot of these games, the carrier is not necessarily the reason why you win. I think in this particular one, we have been a big part of the reason why the team won. Here is Yep, there's the destroyer. Hello. The problem is, you know, we don't... These dive bombers are not good at all at hitting destroyers, but in that case, we didn't have to. Send him back, and let's go after the Seraph.
Unser Sieg ist in Sicht.
Looks like he has probably just camped himself out. Yeah, he's just camped himself out in front of this, behind this island. I don't even know if he probably just hit the reverse button. That was what happened. Now the problem you run into when you go after enemy carriers is that they have such good anti-aircraft guns that you're lucky if you even get, and not only anti-aircraft guns, but you know, combat air patrol. That you're lucky if you even get one strike off. So we'll try to get this strike off, knowing full well the odds of us getting a second are not very high. So we'll just launch our second attack right away. There's 2 hits, 8,000 damage. Done 7k damage in this game, or 70k damage in this game. That's decent. It's not amazing. I've had higher damage games. If we can, I mean, he's probably gonna die here. They're gonna, yeah, he's gone. I was gonna say, if we could go ahead and citadel him, we would be able to finish him off. But that was a pretty solid game, right? It's almost 7,000 experience. That probably got it. Yeah, that got us the XP that we needed. We finished 3rd on the team, and that's without capturing any bases. I mean, that's about what the best you can expect in a tier 5 game like that. And it's fun. As far as I'm concerned, I think the German carriers are the most fun, because going after the battleships, doing those big citadel bomb hits, while also having torpedoes that aren't terrible. You know, they're pretty good. I like the German carriers. All right, what's next? Earn and see. This is where, you know, hit the citadels of ships 10 times. I mean, if we're still playing carriers, we'll just do that. We'll just take out the Vaser again and do that. So let's go ahead and see. We haven't gotten a win in the Ryujo yet, and we need Commander XP. So let's keep our triple experience bonus on there, and we will go for the. Take the triple XP off of here, and you can see, you know, the August von Parseval will be the tier 7 ship, which is it's basically a Graf Zeppelin. But yeah, let's go ahead with the Ryujo. Which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Ryujo was the first purpose-built carrier by, maybe even in the world, like from the keel up. But it was certainly the first purpose-built carrier by the Japanese. All of the carriers before this point were conversions of other ships, right? The Langley was like a converted coal tender, and even the Furious, the tier 5 British carrier that we were playing earlier, was a. Let's just pop ourselves over here. We can hide behind that island. The Furious was an old battleship, a World War I battleship that they basically took the superstructure off of and put a flight deck on it. So, but the Ryujo was built from the ground up as an aircraft carrier. Keel up, not ground up. No ground. And one of the things I like too about the Ryujo is it has the planes that it has. You've got these Nakajima Kates, which were, you know, very successful Japanese torpedo bombers that were used throughout the Second World War. And I think they also have the Val dive bombers. And so the Kates and the Vals were the ones that largely cause the vast majority of damage at like, Pearl Harbor, for example. Let's pop here. This way. Drop our fighter plane consumable there. Let's see if and it would be nice if our fighter plane would shoot those bombers down. What are you doing, fighter? Had a chance to catch him, but he missed him. Here's going to be a destroyer right here. Well, I think we have gotten the Mahan's attention, even though there's only one destroyer in the game, in this particular game. So I'm thinking it really does behoove us to harass him. And yeah, he's... he's putting up that smoke screen, but New Orleans is going to have pretty good anti-aircraft guns. All, generally speaking, the American ships have excellent AA. Just missed him. Probably should have fired a little bit sooner. Let's see if we can get in there and get that. Well, that Mahan is going to have a bad day if all those guided torpedoes hit. It's like none of them did. Yeah, you get used to the quick turning circle of the Fieslers, and then when you come back to the Kates, it's kind of like, oh, bummer. You know, it was nice when I had the ability to. Those torpedoes look pretty good. Catching the New Orleans. Not gonna complain about that one at all. Get that Mahan off the board, though. He is just being so annoying. Oh, they got him. Okay, good. Well, okay then. At this point, let's just go after the Nagato. A lot of airplanes just shot down by air fighter planes. Pretty good. Is it gonna clip him? You bet it will.
自動航行に切り替えま
Need
す
to start getting out of dodge here because that Nagato. Well, I don't know actually. Is that Nagato really gonna make a meaningful impact on this? I don't know. Probably not. I do think I want
手動航行に切り替えます自動航行に切り替えます
Who is this? It's the Nelson. Nelson probably could use some anti-aircraft support, so let's drop those fighter planes in there. Two hits with the bombs. Is this a hood? Sure. You're in my path. Let's go ahead and drop you too.
Many thanks.
Couple. Who do we have left? We've got the Hood and the California. California is not a ship I am keen to attack. Because the California will absolutely wreck us. The California has extremely good anti-aircraft guns. Looks like the enemy carrier is coming back for more, so we will drop our fighter planes and watch them shoot down a whole bunch of enemy bombers. And watch them shoot down a whole bunch of enemy bombers. I think gonna shoot down a single bomb. Oh, there's two. These are torpedoes, yeah, so should do some decent damage with these.
勝利は目前です
Caught him with one. Will we get him with both of these? Probably not, but you never know. Nope, just missed that one. Nelson.
戦闘機発艦
皆の奮闘に感謝する
戦闘終了まで残り5分です
Get a chance to do a whole lot more. Oh my god. The Baser and the California are just sitting on top of each other. For what reason? I assume it's to combine their anti-aircraft firepower, which is going to be very formidable. I don't even know what this bomb attack off. They got one bomb, which fair play, but kind of ridiculous. Oh, we got almost all of our Commander XP done. Where did we finish? 4th? Alright. For the Ryujo, I'll take that. It's not my favorite carrier so far. I wouldn't say the Furious has been my favorite either. I would say that the Vaser is certainly one of the ones that I have enjoyed the most. So let's go ahead and just keep taking her out. Maybe get another game or two, and then we'll probably call it a night. So no destroyers in this one, just cruisers and 3 battleships. I'd like to see a few more battleships, but that's alright. Go over here, and then we'll point ourselves up this way into the base. I think the torpedo bombers are going to end up doing a lot of work in this one against all those cruisers. What battleships do we have? We have a Congo, a Bayern, and a New Mexico. Up against a Ranger. So let's see what we can do. I'm just going to fly towards the center, try to get a sense of where the enemy planes are coming from. At some point we will detect the enemy planes and be able to vector over there to drop our own fighters. There they are. They're coming from this direction. So we will drop our fighters there and hopefully help protect our cruiser. What are we going to go for here? And didn't protect our cruiser at all. Sure, let's go for the Geneva. He's kind of separating himself out here. Got him with 1. Get him with both of these. Yep, 2 more. Alrighty, now we will get the ship going forward and see. Alright, we've already killed 1 enemy cruiser, that's good. Focus on this Geneva. He's kind of got himself in a situation where he's off on his own. Which is kind of what you want to look for when you're a carrier player. Find people who are, you know, they've lost some health. They're sort of on their own. You can see he's just sort of backing up here. Oh, that was, you know, he totally psyched me out. Just drop those bombs so we can get our planes turned back around. I mean, it's going down. So approaching from the stern is usually the best way to bomb. But these German AP bombs, a little bit different. Yeah, I totally missed that one. you know, it's hard to hit cruisers with the AP bombs. It's relatively easy to hit battleships. So maybe we just need to focus on using the torpedo planes for the cruisers and just reserve the bombers for the battleships.
Ziel erreicht. Autopilot deaktiviert.
You know, one of the things you do, right, when you're playing a carrier effectively is you force your opponent to make some hard choices, right? Because, like, now this guy's got to decide, do I turn broadside on to the carrier, or do I turn broadside on to all the battleships that are shooting at me? Both of those, he might be dead. Not quite. Let's send these bombers over here and see what we can do against some of these battleships. There's a combo that really seems to want to die. Darkwing Duck 770, though I love his name. Can, but I'm gonna feel bad about it. It's clearly the one everyone is picking on. But it's not gonna save you, Darkwing.
Wir haben ein gegnerisches Schlachtschiff
Pretty
versenkt.
satisfying. Pretty satisfying when you hit a shot like that. That's good. Alright, let's see what Nutamaker's got here. Just get 2 more bombs off on this guy.
Unser
got
Team
one
hat die
Citadel.
Führung übernommen.
And at this point, I think,
Autopilot aktiviert.
you know, we may want to start just moving up. Only 1 cruiser left. Omaha. But I'm just thinking, you know, maybe we start thinking about whether we want to cap the baser. Can't do it if we're sitting at the back of the map. Will any of these torpedoes hit? This is just too good of a target to pass up. You can't. It's an opportunity to hit 2 ships at the same time like that, can you? Hey, we got him.
Gegnerisches Schlachtschiff gesunken.
Unser Team hat die Führung übernommen.
Enemy carrier is still out there. Go ahead and get that Bayern. He won't be around much longer. Yep. That'll do it for you.
Wir haben ein gegnerisches Schlachtschiff versenkt.
And we still have all of our bombers. Go after this Omaha too. No, we didn't do that very well. And I don't think this is going to play out, but what the heck, this bombing crew is on a pretty good run. Let's just go for it. They're going to get shot. They got 2 hits. I'm just thinking, you know, at this point, let's just sail our ship into the cap and see what happens. Doesn't hurt. Oh man, they just... enemy fighter planes got all over us there. Kind of a bummer.
Jäger in der Luft. Okay, everyone.
What am I doing here? I'm literally just dropping some bombs to send those guys back to the carrier that much faster. Because I know I'm going to lose my whole squadron.
Autopilot deaktiviert.
No, got the Omaha. It's just a question of, can we take out this Ranger? Maybe.
Katapultjäger kehrt zum Schiff zurück.
He's not long for this world, clearly. Yep, he's dead. Did we get enough experience? 9,000 experience, probably going to be enough, yeah. That's enough to get us over the hump for the Commander XP mission. Alright, and now I think the next mission on this Weekly Havoc is to hit the Citadels. And since we're playing carriers, and since the Vaser is obviously the best carrier, I would say obviously, but it's certainly very good. Let's go ahead and see if we can hit the Citadels a bunch of times. We need 10 Citadel hits. So this is going to be one of those battles where, you know, we'll see how many battleships there are and how it plays out, but, you know, maybe we don't where there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 battleships. That's about as good as you can ask for. So, yeah, let's go. Let's just go for it. See if we can get 10 Citadel hits in this game. We're going to use AP bombers. I'm not going to say exclusively, but we're going to use a lot of AP bombers. Only problem I could see us running into is the fact that
Ruhige Wasser. Autopilot aktiviert.
at the beginning of the game, the battleships tend to cluster up. You know, they started off all clustered up, so we might lose some bombers early on just to the fact that, you know, all of those battleships clustered together definitely creates a, you know, an AA bubble that's pretty potent. Yeah, these Fieslers are just really nice, nimble bombers. And, you know, if the Germans had really developed them and put them into their fleet, Who knows how effective they really would have been, but they were generally they were well regarded, you know, by the German Navy even at the time. Oh, we just happened to fly over the enemy destroyer anyway, so let's go ahead and get this Ismail. And of course, Russian bias. For some reason, we don't get a Citadel hit on the Ismail. Prince Heinrich will have to do. We can hit him. There's two. All right. Let's see if we can get this Hyuga. There's a couple of the battleships over there on the side too. Two citadels. Now, number one thing we gotta keep in mind is that if we die, we can't get any citadels, so. And this guy just seems like he wants to be a sitting duck. So we will oblige him. There's one citadel. One. How many planes we got left? Probably just the one. We'll send it back. These airplanes have to take off straight into a cliff. So, 4 citadels. I think we go after this Heinrich now. Just gonna stop on the way and drop off some planes to cover our destroyer. Time we'll go after this Heinrich. Citadel. I mean, there is a reason to go after him. He's getting relatively close to our position, so it's not totally selfish. Citadel. Gosh, will he even shoot down a single plane? Are we gonna get a third whole attack off on this guy? So I just might. No Citadel that time though. Still, we're at 6. And now we need to get out of here because the enemy destroyer has spotted us. Let's see where he is on the map. Don't think we're gonna get our 10 citadels in this game. Yep. Enemy destroyer. Sail right into us. No Citadel. There we got one.
Wir haben ein gegnerisches Schlachtschiff versenkt.
battleship is this coming our way? The Lion. I guess we won't go over this way. I don't know where else I would go. 7 citadels. Still gotta get 3 more to complete that quest. This Lion is just sitting still. I guess not, because he's coming this way. Why sometimes, you know, the way the bombs drop, they kind of drift one side or the other. Get 2 attacks off here. There's a citadel. Eight. Just trying to flip the ship around here so we can be pointed in the right direction. Ooh, that Leon. He may not be around long enough to take another citadel from us. He's got it. He's dead at this point. There's the Ishmael. Can we get a citadel on the Ismail? But there's a citadel. There it is. There's 10. Let's get the torpedo bombers going. I think at this point we've got to take out this Maya. That's the biggest threat to our continued existence on this map. I would like to get in there and capture this base. We got him. Okay.
Gegnerischer Kreuzer versenkt.
Let's get over here and see if we can spot the enemy. What is it? A ranger, right? Forgot it was a ranger.
Gefecht endet in 5 Minuten.
Where is...
Jäger in der Luft.
Alright, and again, once we get our planes in the air, we're gonna do our usual thing where we drop 2 just to get them sent back right away. All of these planes. I don't know where the enemy destroyer is.
Jäger in der Luft.
Ziel erreicht. Autopilot deaktiviert.
Spotted by planes, that's fine. I'm gonna shoot all of those planes down. Should get most of the Ishmael dead. I don't know what happened to the enemy destroyer. It's so strange to me. He should be absolutely wreaking havoc on our battleship fleet, but he's just not for some reason, so I'm not gonna complain. I mean, pretty incredible game. 26 bomb hits, 10 citadels, 2 ships destroyed, 7 torpedo hits. Just shows what is possible when the ship got that 1 citadel on him, but not 2. I got him. Alright. Where did the destroyer go? It makes no sense to me. What that destroyer's doing looks like he just kind of went to sleep. Yeah, we're gonna lose again all of our bombers.
Jäger in der Luft.
Autopilot aktiviert.
I mean, it's not going to matter at this point. We've done 121,000 damage. I mean, you can't really do a whole lot more in a carrier. Oh, there's the destroyer. Way over there. T-61. Should have been doing so much more in this game. That's over for him. Should have been feasting on those battleships, really. But it's going to be 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Done. Pretty good game to end the night on, I think. We got our 10 Citadel hits, which is what we were looking for. 245,000 silver as well. Silver coins, credits. Were we top? We were top of the team. That takes some doing to be top of the team in an aircraft carrier. It's very hard to do. But you know, look at all the ribbons we had. 9 detected ribbons, 29 bomb hits. I mean, that alone is a pretty significant accomplishment. What is that? 8 total fighter aircraft shot down, 2 ships sunk. Only caused flooding 1 time. But 11 Citadel hits. And of course we get the hit the citadels of ships 10 times. In one battle, earned 2,000 or 2,300. I mean, look at that. That's a heck of a game. Just over 2,300 XP in a Tier 5 game. I think it helps that we, we sank the Maya, right? Wasn't it us that sank the Maya? I don't know if we sank the Leon or the Heinrich, but no, we didn't sink the Leon, but maybe we got the Heinrich. But yeah, when you get the killing blow on a ship that is a higher tier than you, you get an experience bonus for that. So that's probably what put us over the Nagato there. But yeah, pretty cool. Good game. Nice job. The German carriers, ironically, because the Germans kind of famously didn't have an aircraft carrier in World War II, the German carriers are really good, really fun, and I'm a big fan. So the Weser especially, a Tier 5 with the Kiesler bombers. Yep, here we go. We are at milestone, what is it, 63 I think? Yeah, 63 out of... Let's take a look at the campaign, because I did decide that I'm going to go ahead and get the Lucian campaign reward. We'll go ahead and finish this campaign. We're so close. We're already at 63. It would be a real bummer not to finish it at this point. When you look at our weekly Havoc, we'll get an additional... That'll get us to 65, 67, plus 4 more. We'll be at 71 out of 80 milestone slots, and I don't, even if we get the heroic effort, we'd have to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we wouldn't. Even if we got all of these, we would only get 5 additional spots. So we are going to have to play a little bit of the Weekly Havoc 4 in order to complete the 7 or 8 remaining rank ups that we'll need. But then we'll have the Lucian, which looks like a pretty darn good legendary tier destroyer, and I don't have a or not legendary tier 8. When you look at all of the tier 8s that I have, real quick, this is literally everything. Well, I got a Sumner. That's right. I do have the Sumner. The Sumner is a really nice ship. I like that one a lot. But it's not a premium, and you kind of want those premium ships so that you can do the premium rewards, that was the whole reason I got the Schroeder, was so that I could have a cruiser that was a premium ship at tier 8. But otherwise, you've got the Hizen, the Musashi, and the Republique, which I think, especially the Republique and the Musashi, these are 2 of the best battleships in the game. And at tier 8, they're excellent. The Schroeder, I think a lot of people are realizing was a really good reward ship, even though it's obviously completely fictional. I mean, all of these ships are completely fictional except the Musashi. That's the one that, of course, really did exist. Sister ship to the Yamato. But the Hizen was a Yamato project that was never realized. Of course, it just became the Yamato. And then the Republique is a completely fictional ship that's based on the Gascon design for the Richelieu battleships. So, pretty cool. And yeah, the rest of these, Alsace was seen as the next iteration of the Richelieu, with a quad turret in the back. The Friedrich der Grosse was the successor to the Bismarck. That was, of course, never built. The Temeraire is it's basically the Lion class of battleship that the British never built. They considered building after the King George V class, but never did. And then, of course, the Sumner. That ship really did exist. The Sumner class destroyers were very successful destroyers at the end of the Second World War. I don't know why I just decided to give that little history lesson, but yeah, that's the kind of content that I'm sure everybody tunes in for. So anyway, that's gonna do it for tonight. Hope you enjoyed this little look at carriers. I think I think the carriers are interesting because they're still just not super well understood by a lot of people in the player base. Some people don't play carriers at all, and I'll put it on my favorite one, everybody's favorite, the Vaser. Yeah, you can see how it has that Admiral Hipper hull form with a flight deck slapped on top of it. But a lot of people see carriers as being kind of broken because they can attack targets from all over the map and not have to worry about putting themselves in harm's way if they don't want to. Personally, I like to play my carriers somewhat aggressively, get them a little bit closer to the front lines. You can see that sometimes it doesn't work out, and other times it does. I think they're more interesting that way if you're getting more aircraft in the air, getting more strikes off. But yeah, carriers are an interesting addition to the game. They've got limitations just like every other class. The same way that a single destroyer is a pretty hard counter to a single battleship. For the most part, there are some destroyers that's not necessarily the case, but a destroyer is going to be able to stay out of range of detectability of the battleship and just send torpedoes its way until the battleship finally sinks. All other things being equal, there are counters to every ship type in this game, and there are counters to carriers, and carriers work as a counter to other ships, depending on how it goes. It's just part of the balance of the game. And again, I think there's not nearly as many resources out there for people who are carrier players as there are for people who play the other ship types, destroyer, battleship, cruiser. There's a lot more streamers out there who play those ships almost exclusively. They never play carriers. So again, not saying that that's like gonna be some niche that I fall into or anything, but I do think that they're interesting to play from time to time. I think they fill a valuable role in the game, and I think that they, they don't deserve some of the hate that they get. Like I said, that's all for me tonight. Tomorrow, I don't know what I'll be doing, so if we're gonna play some World of Warships, then I'm sure I'll stream it, and we'll see you then.